Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a capsule selection. Today, let's catch a vibe. I want to talk about Resins Reimagined. When I think about resins in my collection, I'm often curried over to the side where I love resins with spices, but I'm very much so turning myself to a new DNA in my collecting and in my journey. And these are resins that have a gourmand quality, so a gourmand-esque style to them when it comes to the uses and utility. They really go off well with me for date night scenarios, evening wear, and they're much more comforting when it comes to certain scenarios versus the spicy accords of most resins for me. So in this Resin Reimagined, I want to talk about a few fragrances that really come off with a lot of tenacity and a lot of appeal. So these are warm, sweet, balsamic fragrances that I think will appeal to your nose as well. If this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wines. I am, of course, your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. As I stated, we're going to dive into a fragrance list. Now, these are fragrances that, to me, have a lot of tenacity when it comes to the profile. These have a lot of spice accords, lots of patchouli, lots of balsamic resins with a little bit of a gourmand-esque feel to them. And the reason I want to title this one with tenacity is not so much for the projection of these clouds. Some of them do have a very big and billowing projection cloud, but the tenacity is the longevity for these fragrances. And these go off well for me in my wearing and my fragrance journey. And I want to get them across to you to let you know that these are things that could possibly go off well for you as well. So first off, I want to talk about the fragrance Soir by the house of Maison Kurkdjian. Now we all know this fragrance. It's a beautiful resinous fragrance with a lot of balsamic benzoin and feathering touch of Sister's Labdanum. Smells just like a beautiful vanillic scent with a lot of coumarin or tonka bean. And for me, the beauty in this fragrance, it wears just sweetly balsamic, velvety, tobacco-esque, and smoky. It extends itself with this beautiful lactonic milky feel on my skin, and it has a lot of complex accords that I really enjoy in its makeup. It has one of the best sillage clouds behind you. Sillage. I don't want to get the pronunciation police on my back again. It has one of the best sillage cloud penetrations behind you. So it goes off very well, very sensual, very sexy, a very beautiful evening wear fragrance. It can be worn all day, especially the autumn and winter time in the Midwest where I am. And I very much so enjoy wearing this scent because it is that beautiful encompassing of sensuality, warmth, and balsams that I really enjoy. So first off, I want to give you the recommendation of Soir from the house of Maison Kurkdjian. Beautiful fragrance. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, the reason that this actual list has come about, this is a fragrance by the house of Armani Privé. It is one of their newer fragrances in the line. This is Indigo Tanzanite. And Indigo Tanzanite is one that I sampled not too long ago in my local Neiman Marcus. Fell in love with the scent profile, walked around the mall, had to go back and purchase it, and that is what I did exactly. This is a beautiful fragrance with a lot of tenacity because of its patchouli and benzoin accords. It's not the most projecting of all fragrances, but the reason I do love to wear this is because of the heliotrope. It's this very sweet, warm, vanillic, powdery, slightly metallic, but ultimately balsamic in its heliotrope usage. The milky lactonic part of this is not one that I typically feel, but I do feel a creaminess along with that metallic, nutty feel of the almond. It ultimately carries to a sweet gourmand-esque style from the milky facets of the heliotrope, the balsamic facets of the heliotrope, the sexy chocolatey facets of the patchouli, which smell somewhat similar to those of the Coromandel fragrance. That makes this one of those scents that has a very beautiful scent trail, and the tenacity, like I stated the video name in, it stays on my skin for about 10 to 12 hours. And I very much so enjoy that because whenever I put this around my collarbone and my shoulders, which I do wear this that way, I typically get the scent all evening long, all day long, and all evening long. And that's one I love about this. It's not one that's going to blow the room away by scent, but it will have some good sillage behind it, and it's going to come off well on your skin. So once again, Indigo Tanzanite by the house of Armani Privé. This is actually going to be my scent of the day. I usually do 5 to 6 sprays of this one. Even if I have to top this one off, which I have not, I would, because of that opening. The opening is one beautiful transitioning part of this particular scent because of the way that the key player, the indicator of this one, which is the heliotrope, it opens very, very well with the way that almond-esque feel comes off of it. It is a floral suave facet to it, but it's very similar to things like, I'd say like Pegasus in the way that that metallic feel opens up, but it's more powdery vanillic than Pegasus. And ultimately, it's a beautiful fragrance that comes off well for the masculine skin, and I'm in love with the way it does. And that bottle is just something phenomenal as well. Very beautiful. It's kind of like a marbled blue, indigo. Gorgeous bottle. Because, you know, something to put on the shelf and just be proud of. The scent overall, phenomenal. I love the way it smells on my skin, so that's the second recommendation for you guys. Indigo Tanzanite from the House of Armani. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, what I have here for you guys is a sleeper fragrance in my collection. This one has the hallmark of a note called halva. Halva is what I'm not used to knowing what that is. I think that it is this creamy based paste, kind of like the way Tom Ford Noir Extreme uses the pistachio cream accord, how we come off and smell that. This one has a similar DNA function as the Noir Extreme does. It comes off more robust and more woody for the use of oud and rose, but at the end of the day, it's that halva along with an incense accord, some saffron that come off beautifully sensual. The olibanum in this is rich, it's warm, it's sweet. It actually has a nice balsamic quality to that as well. So both the halva and the incense, along with the playing accords of the woody facets of oud, make this one beautiful fragrance that I think all you guys should get your nose on. Muscat is the center of Oman, I believe, in the Middle Eastern region, and they have some of the best incense accords coming from that region, and I believe that's why they named this to highlight the actual olibanum and incense coming from there. But at the end of the day, it's the sweet gourmand-esque vanilla accorded scent that has that halva, which is a treat or a delight to have when you visit Oman and Muscat. Once again, a beautiful fragrance that comes off great sillage, great sillage, and the facets of the halva make it come off with a great plume that has a great projection behind that as well. So very seductively sweet, warm and woody with a lot of rose, but the rose comes off it has a plateau to it. It's not something that spikes. It comes in the development in the beginning, and it creates this facet of warm coziness with a slight floral touch to it. So it's a very seductively suave fragrance itself. And I think everyone should get their nose on this one because it is one that in my collection I cannot wait to pull out more often than I have. It's very thick and obtuse as well. It wears heavy like you would think something of Jubilation 25 wears heavy. It comes off that heavy in its core function, and the way it transitions throughout the wear of it is just phenomenal. So get your nose on Muscat by the House of Reisigned. You won't be disappointed by the transitions, the evolution on your skin, and the way it ultimately comes off as a balsamic gourmand that has a lot of tenacity to it. Reisigned Muscat. Next up on the list, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to something that I put I think last year I did a connoisseur's conversation on this one. The House of Atelier de Rose is one that I really enjoy their fragrances from. It's one fragrance I want to get called, I think it's Bois Saccar. There I go again, I'm getting it to y'all. The Bois Saccar is a woody tobacco fragrance that I truly enjoy getting, or will be getting to my collection. But I'm ultimately today talking about Rouge Soir. Rouge Soir is a very beautiful sandalwood fragrance with a date accord. Ultimately, it has a heliotrope accord like the Indigo Tanzanite, vanilla, guaiac wood, sandalwood, like I stated. It's a beautiful woody toned gourmand resinous fragrance. It has a lot of the heliotrope properties, a lot of the facets that come from a patchouli, which is that almost indolic feel to it, but it also stays encompassing and enveloped with the Peru balsam that makes this a great balsamic fragrance. So it's this patchouli greenness and beauty of that with the chocolatey facets to it. Dates, vanilla, guaiac wood, plum is in this one. A beautiful jasmine accord is in this one as well. Goes off phenomenal. You're going to hear more about this particular scent. I know it's one from Atelier des Ors. They have a little bit of a shine in the community, and many people talk about the house. But I'm seeing now more and more often than not, this fragrance is picking up steam, and I don't think you guys are going to be disappointed if you get your nose on it. If you like balsamic, gourmandish fragrances with a lot of tenacity. Out of all the fragrances here I'm showcasing to you, this one has the most projection and sillage that'll get you the attention you want when wearing a gourmand balsamic fragrance that comes off beautifully. It has a great transition. It goes off well for the first 2 hours in its transitioning modes, from the opening of the woody accords, the heliotrope, and the vanilla that drives down to that date accord and that beautiful incense and Peru balsam. Grand fragrance for anyone who wants to get their nose on something new and different for their collection. Once again, ROUGE SARAY by the house of Tenacious des Ors. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, last on this list, so this 5-part list, I want to introduce you guys to a fragrance, and I introduced you to it in a connoisseur's conversation. I think about 2 weeks ago. I introduced you to this as one of my new pickups in my collection. So if you want it, I'll drop a card above to let you guys know how that came across and get the overall encompassing and embodiment of what this fragrance does as a long form video. But for this particular list, I'm going to talk to you about VINEGIA 21 as the capsule ends. VINEGIA 21 is a beautiful praline accord balsamic fragrance that goes to the 2000th anniversary of Venice. This is a gorgeous wearing fragrance that has a lot of high quality, milky, sweet, warm balsamic tones. That has a patchouli essence and has a very beautiful myrrh accord, which makes this balsamic for me. It has cinnamon, it has saffron, it has cedar wood, patchouli, like I said, praline, oud is in this one. At the end of the day, it comes off with this incensey olabanum that comes in at the mid with a myrrh accord that helps it dry down, along with that praline nuttiness that has a sweet candy-like feel to it as the opening goes. These are the type of gourmands that I love on my skin. When I talk about how much I do not love some gourmand fragrances, these are the ones that I'm gravitating towards with this resonance feel, as I stated in the prologue. They're beautiful wearing fragrances with a lot of transitions, a lot of periods where they come and they ebb and flow in the way they project, but at the end of the day, they have a lot of tenacity about them because of the balsams that are in it or the incenses that are in them with the resonance feel. And I very much so love how that comes off my skin. It gives me plenty of compliments that I want. It has something that is comforting, cool, calm, and collective for me to carry my day and my head above shoulders. And it keeps me grounded as well in some cases. But at the end of the day, it has a very sensual, sweet, gourmandish feel to it that makes me feel slightly seductive. And that's one thing that you want to carry throughout your day. So to me, VINEGIA 21 belongs on the high end of this list when I talk about resinous, sweet, warm, and cozy balsamic fragrances that have been reimagined to give me a gourmand take in my collection. Once again, VINEGIA 21 by the house of Merchant of Venice. Beautiful fragrance. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my list for you guys today. I want today to introduce you guys to a new collective of my fragrance collection, a new genre that I'm diving into deeply. These are Tenacious fragrances that have a great scent trail, a great scent bubble as well. They are fragrances that don't go overboard in their projection, but have a great sillage about them that gives you plenty of compliment factor. They have a sweetness, they have a warmness, they have a coziness, and ultimately they give you a sense of pride when you wear these particular scents, because you know you smell well, smell great, smell better than any person in the room. So at the end of the day, these are great fragrances for you to have, keep, and store in your collection. If you found anything entertaining and or educational about this video, all I ever ask that you do, hit the like button, subscribe, and ultimately hit the bell icon so you'll get the first notification when these videos drop. If you guys have any of these fragrances, I would love to hear how you wear them, and if you feel the same way as I do about them. Your opinion does count to me, because I love knowing what you guys are wearing in this community, because ultimately we are trying to smell our best together. So until next video, I will see you guys there. Peace.